My guest at this time is the FTW champion. He is going to be competing in a triple threat match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships tonight on AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest Night One. It is Ricky Starks. Ricky, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me here today.
Of course, man. It's a very big night for Team Taz, Will Hobbs and myself. So, I'm just taking some time to myself before I head over to the venue and get things squared away for tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Well, hey, before we jump into tonight, I had the privilege of being a Double or Nothing, and you came so close. You and Hobbs had another triple threat tag team match, and came so close to winning the titles there. How did it feel to know that you came so close that night in a triple threat match, heading into tonight's big triple threat match again for the titles?
Uh, that's a hard question, man. That's a hard question because it almost feels like a backhanded compliment in a way. Um, you know, it's really hard to say because let me put it this way: me and Hobbs have had multiple opportunities for not only the tag team title but also the AEW championship with those two battle royals that we had, and obviously we didn't come close to winning those things. So the same thing is said for the tag team titles. The difference though in tonight compared to Double or Nothing, I think there's a little bit more fire behind us in terms of how we feel at the company, how we feel about Keith Lee and Swerve, and how we feel about the Young Bucks. So I think eventually what happens is people get tired of busting their ass and not really reaping the rewards for that, for the hard work that they put in, and eventually people don't want to play by the rules anymore. And when I say people, I'm talking about me and Hobbs. And so I think that's where we're at. We're at that point where we're tired, man. We're just sick of it. So there's a lot more fire now.
Yeah, for sure.
Than there was.
And I think it's interesting, both triple threat matches, right? I mean, do you feel like you're owed, heads up regular match? Like, I feel with the triple threat rules, it's a little bit more difficult for you.
Right. I see. That's the thing. I think, me personally, a singles, a normal tag match would have been sufficient enough. But I do like the fact that the pot was sweetened with the Bucks coming out there and putting the title on the line. So that's more of a plus for me and Hobbs than it is, if we had it the other way, if we had it against Swerve and Keith. I think at the end of the day, people should realize and remember that it's not about necessarily the tag titles. I'm gonna be straight with you. It's not really about that in the grand scheme of things. It's a cherry on top, but what it really is about is the respect. Ultimately, the respect. I said it on Road 2. We deserve the same respect that these people that come in here from wherever they came from just get handed to them. The guys, two guys that held down AEW during the pandemic, we should be in the same conversation. That's what it's about. It's about the respect and dignity that is owed to us.
So do you have a little chip on your shoulder seeing all these? I mean, it's been a topic of conversation, right? A lot of big former WWE names coming in right now. Seems like they're occupying more TV time as the weeks roll on. Like, do you have a little chip on your shoulder in regards to that happening at the moment?
No, not at all. I don't believe in having a chip on my shoulder because that makes me a whiny little bitch. But what I do believe in is these people who come in and the attitude of a higher than, and we are a less than. You get what I'm saying?
For sure.
I think it should be noted that there's a reason those people don't work there anymore. And we should look at the facts of why. So when they get in the ring and they stand across the ring for me or Hobbs, we have proven to people by contrast exactly why they left or why they got kicked out or whatever happened. We have proven that me and Hobbs, the people who've been here through the pandemic, man, who came in around the same time, we proved exactly that me and Hobbs are better, if not levels. I mean, levels above these guys. I don't care who you are. And you can put this in the headlines of the dirt sheet. I don't give a shit who you are. You can't come in here and act like that you are way better than me or Hobbs. It ain't gonna happen, Jack. Not as long as I got breath in my lungs.
Yeah, and how does it feel knowing that you and Hobbs have really risen to the occasion? I mean, a lot of people have noticed that the chemistry between the two of you has really gelled a lot more, especially in, I'd say, the last 6 months. You two really seem to have found a groove with the two of you. I mean, are you feeling that internally as well right now, that the two of you are really starting to find your real chemistry at the moment?
Well, it's weird because I think me and Hobbs have always had chemistry. We're actually friends. We're real friends. We have a true friendship. I can't say the same for a lot of people that are tag teams now in wrestling. But me and Hobbs have a really true friendship. So I don't think it's a matter of, here's what I'm saying. It's not a knock on you, Nick. It's not a matter of us just finding it. We've always had it. It was a matter of people such as yourself and other viewers just taking the time to acknowledge it and actually see it for what it was. And the only way that you were going to see it was when we're actually having to go up against people who are quote unquote, this guy's so charismatic or this guy is so cool or, whatever the case may be. Now people are being like, oh, well, it just happened. No, it's been there. It's been there since day one. And I think it's really cool to see people like kind of rally behind us in a way
Oh, for
and
sure. For
and
sure.
give us those props. Hobbs has come a long way. Like he's dude, he busts his ass like almost every week in the gym, like with the promos. Like he's really putting in the time and effort, and it's really cool to see. Me personally, I've always been this dude. I've been that good. It was just a matter of the difference between me and top guys. It's a matter of opportunity. Some get more opportunities than me. Doesn't mean that that I am not as good as they are. It's just you just gotta wait. So that's how it is for me and Hobbs at this point.
And it's an interesting dynamic too, because you guys are a tag team, right? But
Yeah.
you're also both singles wrestlers. Like you pointed out, you both have had AEW World Title opportunities, right? With the AEW Royal Rampage and then the number one contenders Battle
Steel
Royal.
Battle Royal, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You guys have had your chances here recently. Do you like the flexibility of doing tags and singles, or do you personally would you rather pick a lane? Would you like to focus on one or the other right now?
Well, I mean, I would always pick a lane, and that'd be the singles route, of course. Um, but I have found a renowned love for the tag team aspect. I don't consider me and Hobbs a true tag team like if you compare this to FTR or the Bucks, for example, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong in actually acknowledging that because if you ask Hobbs the same thing, he'd tell you that too. We're singles competitors, but we come along because we're friends and we also do tag team stuff. So obviously, if I had my way, I would just pick the singles competition. But sometimes that lane is a little bit backed up. So
It's an interesting comment heading into a tag title match tonight that you're saying I'd prefer to be a singles champion right now, but I guess I'll take these tag titles if it's the opportunity that's in front of me, you
well,
know?
see, that's the interpretation by you saying, well, I guess I'll take the tag titles. It's on the contrary.
Sure.
The singles titles is cool to have, right? But
Yeah.
me and Hobbs as a tag team is even, like I said earlier, it sweetens the pot to be tag team champions. At the end of the day, it comes down to me and Hobbs getting the respect that we deserve, and that is from both tag teams. Now, individually, we also deserve respect and dignity from everybody in the company. But with the situation that is at hand for tonight on Dynamite, the tag team titles, I'm like, why would I not be up to win the tag team titles? Sure, I just said that I'm more in the lane of a singles competition, but bro, gold is gold either way.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and let's talk about the current champions holding the gold. Let's talk about your some of your competition here tonight. The Young Bucks, man. Not only your competition, but also kind of your boss. Like how is that? How is it working and fighting and potentially injuring people that have a distinct control over the direction of maybe your future with the company?
Well, I think that's a conflict of interest, don't you think?
I'm asking you. You don't get to flip this on me like that.
You're the reporter here,
No,
bud.
no.
So this is the thing. Whatever I say, obviously, it's going to be on record. But me personally, I don't look at it that way. You know, I understand your point in terms of, yeah, what if you do hurt them? Well, what if I do? What's going to happen? Charge it to the game. But I can tell you this, as a professional for 11 years, as a safe human being, um, I don't see that happening at all. What I do see happening is them losing for sure tonight. They're going to lose the tag team titles to me and Hobbs, so that's going to happen. And if that causes some type of strife backstage, then so be it. But I don't think that would happen with the Bucks. I don't think they are those type of people.
Yeah, just curious. And then of course, the other tag team in the ring, Swerve Strickland, Keith Lee. First of all, what do you think of these two? They don't seem to have the same chemistry at the moment that you and Hobbs have. Seem to be a little bit of dissension between the two.
Well, that's because they're not really friends. That's what I assume from it. They're not really friends. I do know that they've had history tag teaming in the past, especially on the independent circuit. What I think is happening in this moment is we have two guys who feel as if they deserve more than what they used to get, right? And now we're seeing them clash. And to me, that's perfect because it implodes within. Obviously, me and Hobbs do not care for these guys a lot just because of the really holier than thou attitude from day one. That's really, I mean, that is documented. We can go back and watch Dynamite and Rampage. That is documented that they had this really holier than thou attitude. And that's not how it works, man. Imagine I come to your job and I start day one and I'm like, yo, Nick, shut up. I got this. I'm going to show you how it's done. You're just like, oh. You get what I'm saying? So that's really the crux of this whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
I keep saying it. It's about just being treated as an equal.
Yeah, for sure. And, I don't know if you saw, there was a little bit of news this morning. Keith Lee put out this mysterious tweet. It sounds like there's something going on in possibly his personal life or something like that is heading into the match here tonight. I don't know if you've seen this or have any thoughts on. Yeah. Tony Khan got pushed about it on Busted Open Radio this morning. So it sounds like there's something that's at least going on in the back of Keith's mind here going into the match tonight. So.
That I'm not aware about. And that, that does suck. And I'm sympathetic towards that. But at the end of the day, we have to put on a show. And we have to go out there and we have to win some tag team titles. So if his head is not fully in the game, I can assume that would be somewhat of a reason as why. But Keith, from my experience, isn't the type of person to use any type of excuse as to why something didn't go his way.
Yeah, for sure. Well, looking at the tag team picture here in AEW right now, beyond the teams that you guys are in the match with tonight, FTR holding a lot of gold right now. They got the ROH tag titles, the AAA titles, the IWGP titles. How do you feel about them not being in the AEW world title picture? I think they've been the number one contenders for like 14 weeks now. You keep getting shots. Swerve and Keith are getting shots. How do you feel about the fact that these guys are not in the picture right alongside you right now?
So I love FTR. I think FTR is great. It is bizarre to me that they did get skipped over, but who am I to really give up my opportunity? I got it. So that's where I'm coming from. Like, it does suck, and I definitely get the issues that they have with it. They're the number one contender, and we're right underneath them. We skipped the line.
What do you think that says? Now, what do you think that says about the AEW rankings, though? Like, a lot of fans will point to that and say, like, what's going on here right now? If these guys are ranked below FTR and are getting the title shot at the moment,
the squeaky wheel, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So also think about this too. FTR has had their plate pretty full with not only winning the IWGP title and Ring of, they've gone to Ring of Honor, and they're going to have another Briscoes versus FTR Part 2. So they have been very, very, very busy with all of that. Keep in mind, when it came to Jurassic Express and me and Hobbs and Keith and Swerve, FTR was also busy at that time too. I think it's a matter of the timing of it. We can't just wait. We can't just not have these contendership matches because someone is number one contender, but they're busy with something else. You get what I'm saying? We have to move on to the next person. Though I made a promise, and I'm telling you this too, once we win the titles tonight, I am giving them, I put this on my life, man. They got first shot. I don't care what anyone says. I'm giving them the first title shot.
It'd be a banger, man. You brought up the Briscoes match, the sequel they're doing here. Any plans for you to do anything with Ring of Honor right now, Ricky?
Nothing. No, nothing right now.
No.
But I definitely will be watching out of support, and that means paying for it. I don't want it for free. So,
What?
uh,
Come on, dude. You could get a BR app access. I get BR app access. You don't need to pay for this thing.
well, that's me being pretty modest and saying I pay for it, but we'll see. We'll see if I even bother asking for a free link. I don't care about
What about the Briscoes though? Like, do you have any interest in touching gloves with them, either in AEW or Ring of Honor?
that. No, I've never had. It never crossed my mind.
Really?
Yeah, that sounds crazy to say. I like watching the Briscoes, but I just never thought of wanting to get into the ring because I've been so hyper focused on, me and myself and Hobbs and different stuff like that. I just haven't had the time to really have these like dream matches with tag teams come into play yet.
Well, talking about dream matches, man, we talk about the chances you've had in the battle royals for the AEW World Title, the top gold in the company. There was a lot of speculation that you and Punk were gonna, have a match when he was feuding with Team Taz, and just didn't. I don't think it manifested, did it? Like, Why didn't that come to fruition? I think everybody was really excited about that possibility.
I'm not sure. That seems to be the pattern of my career, just fall through the cracks with certain opportunities. Obviously, Punk had the match against Hobbs, and then, went right into having issues with MJF, I believe. So
Right.
it was a matter of timing. And I mean, that's no fault of him or me or anyone, really. It's just a matter of timing. But I do think that the day that happens, that the day once he comes back and he's fully recovered, I think the day that me and Punk actually have a match will set the world on fire a bit,
Yeah, for sure. And of course, the other person that everybody wanted to see him, hook up with was Hook.
Oh yeah.
Is Hook still Team Taz? Like, I don't see you guys walk around as a unit much at the moment.
Hook is still part of Team Taz for sure. I mean, by proxy, his father,
Sure.
But Hook has also been busy with his own type of thing. I think that's what it is. I get a lot of questions about that of why Hook isn't around, and it's just a matter of Danhausen, one being one of them, and two, he's kind of a lone wolf,
Yeah, I mean, him. I don't know. So, like, if you tell me he's a lone wolf, I'm going to take you at your word and say
he's kind of a loner.
How
has
is it
funny
been?
to see.
How has it been having before he went down with injury? How was it having Punk around backstage? Was he somebody you'd go to get advice from? Did you guys have any kind of relationship?
Man, Punk is a leadership in the truest form. I've asked him countless times about advice and things like that backstage, and he's always willing and open to it. And so I do miss him. I feel his absence for sure in the locker room, and I'm counting the days until he makes a return. But yeah, Punk is the man, and it's really great to have somebody who, I don't know if anyone realizes, but Punk has gone through multiple phases. That he was around for that indie bit, but then he was around when WWE was bringing in the indie guys, and he was in that system, and now he is on the other side of what wrestling is, past that. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool that he's kind of gone through these different generations of wrestling, so to speak, and has all that. Same with Brian. I don't think anyone realizes Brian ate crap. Him and Punk and Joe and all these guys ate crap, went up there, did that system for a bit, especially when that system was changing from 2005 all the way through 2012 or whatever. And now they're at the other side of it. And it's really great to have because, at a certain point, you only had guys from the 80s and 70s with that mindset. And then you only had guys from the 90s with the mindset. Now you have guys mixed from both generations. It's really cool to have.
Yeah, for sure. And, another person I know you've talked about going to advice for was the guy who I think brought you into the company, Cody Rhodes. I mean, he's not around anymore at the moment, but is he somebody you stay in touch with, still get advice from?
Absolutely. I know a lot of people, make up these rumors and ideas because I'm friends with someone that certain things happen, and it's just funny to me. Or people are like, how dare he still talk to? It's like, if you had a real friendship with someone, you guys would know that it doesn't matter where they go or what happens to them. Yes, him and Cody and Tony brought me in for sure. I still talk to Cody. I still ask him for advice. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no, I'm not a turncoat or something like that.
Sure.
It's just a genuine friend to have and somebody that actually, cares and looks out for me because that's very few and far between. The other person in AEW is Sanjay. Sanjay actually looks out and is helpful with me. And sometimes you need that, man. Sometimes you're just a misunderstood person and people just don't want to bother. And it's good to have these people that do care.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm happy to hear you have those people around you, Ricky. You're doing great
Yes.
work. You're doing great work right now. I know you're a fan favorite over at Wrestling Inc. The team helped me put together the questions for today, so there was a lot of people that were excited to hear from you.
Really?
Yeah.
But what are your questions?
My questions were in there too. It was like a group effort. We have like a Slack. We have a Wrestling Inc. Slack.
Love
I go to the team. I'm talking to Ricky Starks tomorrow. What's everybody want to know about? And then they all let me know what they want to hear you talk about, and what's going on with Hook. What's Punk like? How's Cody? Those were questions from the team. I got my stuff in too. I mostly wanted to ask the Bucks questions, so whatever.
Gotcha.
Anyway, this was a great talk, Ricky. Thank you so much for the time. Anything you want to plug, promote, put over here before we wrap up the interview today?
Obviously, tonight Dynamite is a big deal. The tag team titles. Hopefully, I've been more transparent than I should have been. But tonight is the tag team titles on the line. Me and Hobbs against the Bucks versus Swerve and Keith. That's on TBS, of course. And what was another thing I wanted to say? I really like Wrestling Inc. When I was told that this would be an interview, I thought it was for that other site, the Ringside something. Ringside.
Oh.
Yeah, and I said, yeah, I'm not going to do that bullshit. So there's that.
Right. Well, cool. Well, I'm glad that you like us enough to give me the time. Please continue to do so. I am sure you are upright, upstanding outlet that is doing the good work. So
yes, you are. Yeah, your company is.
Thank you, Ricky.